Cell phone video showing a massive brawl at a Texas Roadhouse in Avon is now getting a lot of attention online.
That's right. Several people were injured in this brawl. The Avon Police Department is now looking for some suspects. Our Logan Gay spoke with a customer who was there during the brawl and shares her experience.
This Texas Roadhouse is back open after multiple people were injured inside during the brawl. Some customers who were there at the time say they are still in shock about what they witnessed.
Amanda Pauly can be seen in this video protecting her kids during the brawl that broke out in the Texas Roadhouse. She put one of her kids under the table and tucked the other two under her chest. She says her family was sitting there enjoying their appetizers when the chaos started. She says it appeared the two groups involved in the brawl were possibly celebrating graduations. Avon police confirmed to 13 News this was a fist fight and several people were injured. But with glass and fists flying, Amanda says she's never felt more helpless.
If you want to fight, there's places and times to do it, and not in a restaurant where you're flinging things that could have been detrimental to, kids.
Avon police is asking for help identifying some of the suspects who fled from the scene. If you have any information, they ask that you contact them or Crime Stoppers. In Avon, Logan Gay, 13 News.
A grocery store on the near north side of Indianapolis back open today after gunfire over the weekend. IMPD was called to the Kroger on East 16th Street about possible shots fired in the parking lot there Sunday afternoon. Nobody hurt, luckily, but the windows were damaged. Police reports show police arrested a 16-year-old on the scene. Our Ashton Hackman will have more on this story coming up tonight at 5 o'clock. Well, we've talked a lot about the shortage of healthcare workers, both worldwide and right here in the U.S. The COVID-19 pandemic playing a big part in that. But another issue that's contributing to the shortage actually might surprise you.
This was something that really caught our eye. It turns out that workplace violence is yet another reason that healthcare workers are leaving the profession in scores. 13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker live in studio right now to tell us what she learned about the issue and what the law does right now to protect some of our current healthcare workers.
Yeah, ladies, the statistics are pretty alarming. The statistics show that healthcare workers are 5 times more likely to be injured on the job from workplace violence than workers in other industries. That's according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. In a 2023 survey of 14,000 Hoosier healthcare workers, 34% said their unit had a problem with patients or visitors being physically aggressive towards staff. This isn't just an Indiana problem. The American Hospital Association recently released a report that estimates healthcare providers spent close to $15 billion in 2023 responding to workplace violence in healthcare facilities across the country. IU Health's Vice President of Security, Safety, and Disaster Preparedness spoke to us today about the growing problem.
We know that the violence is increasing. We know that the severity of the violence is increasing. We know that the frequency is increasing, but the causes of that, why people are acting out the way that they are, is something that we're really struggling, I think, across the country to understand. This isn't just an IU Health problem, not just an Indiana problem. We're seeing this, all of my colleagues across the country are experiencing the same things, and we're struggling to wrap our heads around why the change.
All right, so Emily, does Indiana law do anything to protect these healthcare workers?
So some current law has an enhanced penalty for battery committed against certain licensed healthcare professionals and staff in emergency rooms. Now, this past legislative session, there was a bill to expand those protections. It did not make it across the finish line, but it's something the healthcare professionals I spoke with today say they are going to continue to advocate for, and we'll hear more from them at 5:30.
All right, Emily, okay. Thanks.
Thanks for putting the spotlight on this, Emily. And today we're getting a new look at how the children here in Indiana are comparing with their peers all across this country.
The Annie E. Casey Foundation reports improvement for young Hoosiers, but there are still areas where the state did not see a lot of change. So let's dig into the data. According to the Kids Count data book, Indiana moved up 2 spots in overall well-being, ranking at 25th. This data looked at economic well-being, education, health, and family and community. The state earned the highest rankings in over a decade for economic well-being and education, both ranking 11th. For health, Indiana moved up 2 spots from last year, and for family and community, the ranking stayed the same. Now, the Indiana Youth Institute says this data helps them understand what young Hoosiers need to succeed.
The rankings are really that reminder of while we're seeing real gains in key areas, and we want to celebrate those and keep those going and keep the momentum. We must also continue to focus on what works and really be clear-eyed about those areas where we're struggling.
These rankings are meant to show how children are doing after the COVID pandemic. So when it comes to education, the data shows that some areas slipped. That includes 3- and 4-year-olds not in school, 4th graders not proficient in reading, and 8th graders not proficient in math. One of the improvements, more Indiana high schoolers are graduating, and they're doing so on time. Still, the Institute is looking for other states for comparison.
It's important to understand there that even if we do a little bit worse, other states may have backslid more. So that all goes into how do we arrive at these rankings. So all of that information is true. Our rankings at the state level were a little bit worse than last year. Nationally, we still came out a bit ahead.
And if you'd like to learn more, you can find the full report right now on WTHR.com. A new travel ban took effect today amid rising tension over the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration.
Julia Benbrook is at the White House now, and she has a look at why the administration says it now is doing this and what it means going forward.
President Donald Trump's sweeping new travel ban is now in effect. As of Monday, most citizens from a dozen countries, mostly from Africa and the Middle East, are now barred from entering the United States. In addition to the 12 countries the ban applies to, it also imposes heightened restrictions on 7 others. Groups that provide aid and resettlement help to refugees quickly denounced the move. When Trump signed the proclamation last week, he framed it as a way to protect the United States, saying, quote, "We cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States."
The strength of the restrictions we're applying depends on the severity of the threat posed. The list is subject to revision based on whether material improvements are made, and likewise new countries can be added as threats emerge around the world.
According to the guidance issued from the State Department, the ban applies to those in impacted countries who do not have visas issued before the effective date, and that visa applications from the affected nations will still be reviewed and approved as appropriate. Those exempt include dual nationals, diplomats, and government officials, as well as some athletes and coaches for major sporting events like the World Cup and the 2028 Olympics. Trump tied the announcement of the new restrictions to the recent terrorist attack in Boulder, Colorado. He said that it underscored the dangers posed by some visitors who overstay their visas. The man charged in that attack is from Egypt, a country that is not on Trump's restricted list. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
All right, it's 4:08 on your Monday, and hey, take a look. Since we joined you at noon, sunshine has made an appearance in downtown Indianapolis. Love to see it.
Yeah, and the heat is back too. So you've got Jenny and Ann in today for Dustin and Felicia, who are either off or working other shifts as we're busy in the summer travel
Vacation season.
Yes, we are. Everyone needs a break, so we're happy to provide them that opportunity. We are looking at the weather now today, and it looks like we got a couple days pretty steady.
Yeah, pretty nice here. We're getting a break from the mugginess that we had over the weekend, that's for sure. That will come back with a vengeance coming into this weekend. But right now, we're in good shape. 75 to almost 80 degrees. One thing that you probably have noted, it's not nearly as humid as it was over the weekend. We had a lot of sunshine the middle part of the afternoon, and some areas now back under cloud cover here, and we've got some returns on radar. Not all of it reaching the ground, but some of it will, especially north of I-70. But this map, compared to 24 hours ago, these numbers are 15 degrees lower, and that means less humid air. Now, there will be a little batch cloud cover. I can't completely rule out a passing sprinkle or shower around the metro area. Your odds of rain are going to be a little higher. Farther north you go, get up toward the Michiana border, there's much more lift, and that's where we've had some thunderstorms across parts of lower Michigan, far northern Indiana, possibly a few hailstorms here. They're quick moving, and all this action is going to be well to our east by the time we get into tomorrow morning. Here's Future Track 13. Don't see a whole lot of green on the map, and get into tomorrow morning. Comfortably cool lower 50s. Wouldn't even shock me if we have a couple of 40s early tomorrow morning. The sky, however, will be rather smoky and hazy. You probably have noticed that. It's coming from some more wildfires across Canada. We'll have some sunshine early on, some low clouds flaring up in the afternoon. Muggy meter comfortable now. It's going to get pretty sweaty this weekend. We'll talk about rain chances returning ahead in the forecast.